the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coaching, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coaching, yeah. We winners, coaching. It's all said and done.
What's going on, y'all? I was seeing where my decibels was at.
It's a lot going on.
I've never heard Riz burp before.
First time for everything.
I've never seen that before. Like certain things you just realize when you're getting closer to somebody.
JJ, please start the podcast.
Oh, you burp.
Right. Or if a girl fart, like that's when you really in there. Like y'all locked in at this point.
I think every girl farts.
Yeah.
So
Not like noticeably. Like if she fart and say excuse me, that means we locked in. Cause it's like now I just acknowledge I fart. You see what I'm saying?
I think that's not.
I'm trying to tell you.
No, that's true.
This is what you learn from hanging with bad chicks for a long time.
Oh, period. Like,
yo, Jay unamused. What he over there
He's
doing?
used to you.
I can't see.
He's known you the longest out of everyone on here.
Yo, he blocked himself with the screen, so I can't. Right?
Loving this new development. What's going on?
All right, y'all ready?
I'm not.
Yes.
that is the cool intro.
Oh
that
man.
Right.
That we
listen to Jay with the cool intro because we always basically like
Do it
start
anyway.
and then do it. Yeah.
we can keep it in. F it, we keep it in.
So keep going.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Who's Hiring, cultural commentary for the creatively employed. It's just JJ. Today we're here with Diamond A. Durant, Jay Duce, Amani is Faith, Riz. How y'all feeling? How's everybody feeling? Let's check in.
we feeling good.
Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
no,
Y'all feeling like
good.
the weather?
Yeah.
Bright and sunny?
Yeah.
Is it sunny
Bright
now?
and sunny.
It's kind
Right.
of windy and cold
It's good.
outside.
No, I just went out there.
Bright and
It's
sunny.
actually mad nice right now. Like
It
at this
is.
very moment right now, it's like the
Yeah.
perfect temperature with the perfect sun brightness.
Yeah.
I've been
You
up
know
and
what I'm
out
saying?
since 7 a.m. So it was biting
Sheesh.
out there.
Dang.
I was like, I thought it was
You
gonna
gotta
be
catch the
hot.
sunlight.
You know what
Yeah.
crazy, John, is the variation between the range between the temperatures right now, like the high 71 and the low 41.
Yeah,
Like
hate
I
it.
didn't think that the temperature should be able to sway 30 degrees
Hate it.
in one day.
I had my trash bag coat out the other day, like just 2 days ago. I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Heat
What?
in the morning, AC in the afternoon.
Hate it.
It's been yeah.
How y'all week been? What's been on y'all mind this week?
My week been busy. I feel like I say this every week, but every week is busy. I got cool news this week. I was asked to give a keynote speech at a graduation ceremony for an entrepreneurship training program that's coming up
All right,
next
we
week.
got it.
Yeah,
Them sounds.
right.
We getting them sounds for next joint.
Which is really, really cool. The way I got invited is kind of crazy though, because I met this woman at a mentorship networking event and we're talking casually at breakfast. We were both kind of late. So I'm thinking that she's someone there to network, not a mentor. But she was a mentor. And at the end of introducing myself, within like 10 minutes of the conversation, she was like, oh, I want to invite you to give this keynote for my program at CCP. And now we're kind of getting ushered into the next room. So we didn't really have time to like follow up on like what that meant. But I'm like, okay, cool. So fast forward to this week, we followed up on the conversation about what the invitation actually was. And it's this program that's been running at CCP for around 30 years now. It's an entrepreneurship program for people running small businesses across the city where they bring all these different subject matter experts in like back office stuff to speak to these people and help them, create a plan, an actionable plan that they can use to get their small business on track. And she says typically the keynote speaker for this graduation ceremony is like a CEO, someone with a master's degree and years and years and years of experience in this. But she felt strongly that like my blend of experience from the community service side to the entrepreneurship side to the nonprofit and grant writing side, all of those things makes me a unique fit to be able to speak to this population about community impact and how entrepreneurship fits into that. And that she wants to make a point essentially to the academics that she works with that anyone can be a mouthpiece for wisdom. It does not just have to be people that fit into your hierarchy. But she basically was like, they heard that I was inviting someone without a master's degree that's not a CEO and was looking at me sideways. So we got something to prove.
Right.
So it's good news, but it's also like nerve-wracking news a little bit because it's just like I feel like there are shoes for me to fill that I wasn't anticipating stepping into. And I'm excited, but I'm also like, I have to admit it, nervous, like a little bit anxious.
Yeah.
That's how I'm
What
doing.
they don't know is that there was no better pick than Miss Mind.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They don't know that yet.
Right.
I feel like one of your greatest traits is your articulation, and also, you know, who's hiring. We practice every week. We come in here and we focus on who we are and how to tell that. And this is not your first time.
No,
So,
it's not.
Right.
I'm excited to
It's a new
see.
room.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I'm excited to see what you do in that situation, and the point that she was trying to prove, I think, needs to be proven at times, because especially in higher education, it gets real hierarchical and
Yeah.
real bureaucratic. People aren't focused on what they need to be focused on.
Yeah.
Instead, they're focused on titles and focused on
Right.
you know, obscure metrics.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity to ground the situation back in what it's for, which is to communicate advocacy to the community. So congratulations.
Super
Thank
dope.
Congratulations. What about the rest of y'all weeks? Like, what's going on?
My week's been good. Busy, like Mani said, but good. As she was talking, I was trying to think of something for my week. Honestly, just something that came out of this week that I was thinking about the other day is because I had a kind of a challenging week a little bit. Like there was like a couple challenges that popped up, but I was thinking like when you hear people speak and maybe like entrepreneurship is hard, this is the hard that they're talking about.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're literally
Oh,
in it right now. So I just had to remind myself of that. Like these are essentially the challenging, and not like nothing crazy, just like problem solving, just like day-to-day problem solving. This is kind of like what you signed up for when you say you want to do your own thing. So yeah, I just had to remind myself of that. Like it's normal. Everything happens in due time. And whatever you believe in, for me is God, but like I trust God's perfect timing. Like I just have to remind myself of that. So yeah, that was just a lesson that came from me this week.
Amen.
Something I say to JJ all the time is like, you are well past the point where most people give up already.
Yeah.
And so if it's hard, it makes complete sense. Like
Right.
if people around you don't have the words of wisdom or guidance that you need, it makes sense. You are well past the point where most
Yeah.
people stopped. So
That's a
you should be
fact.
proud of that by itself.
That's a fact.
Definitely building your own team. I feel the same. Like my week's been super busy. Just a lot of bell to bell. I was trying to reflect as you guys asked the question, because honestly, I just been looking at what's ahead of me. It's hard to like have a second to think about, well, what happened this week. But definitely, like I think it was like 400 kids we serviced this week, which was really cool. And got to like do some like cool programming. The music industry class is really picking up. Kids
Fire.
had me stay late this time for the first time. And they was
Hey,
in the
Mr.
studio like really like making music. So it was cool to just see them like find their rhythm and find their creativity, and then like find community within that, which I think was like the coolest part of that. And then dang, what else? Oh, school's almost over. Last week is down. Group project is the last thing of the week. So
That's it.
that's
and then
it.
you're
And
done?
then I'm done. So
shoot.
it's close to yes, I'll
Wow.
be done. That's like it's coming fast, man. It's coming fast. So looking forward to that. And then I actually got to post a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So the rollout is
Seen
still
that.
rolling. Rollout is still rolling. I'm still getting some feedback with the song. So it's just dope. Just keeping to look forward at what's happening and putting the good energy out there. But it's busy, bro. It's like I want to breathe, but you know, you count your wins when you can. You catch your breath when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
felt
I
that.
got a similar story to both of y'all. Just the trials and tribulations of entrepreneurship. I think this week I did have some wins. I'm gonna finish my first book that I finished in some years
All right.
this week. You know what
He's
I'm
a
saying?
reader.
I'm super happy about this.
Got the glasses on.
Also, I think that in my time as entrepreneurship, I really over time, how can I say this? I think when you look into entrepreneurship, a lot of people tell you how to do a lot of things. But the truth of the matter is you won't know what works for you until you do it, until you find out what works for you. And I feel like at this time is one of the first times where I feel like I understand what's going on. I understand how to create systems around it, and it's working. So I was able to put some systems in place this week that should be really effective because they are encapsulation of everything that we've been doing, and that's even with this pod itself, understanding how the distribution is going to flow and understanding what works and what doesn't, and understanding how to be consistent with that. I think I've made some headway there, so I was excited. It's been trying, but I think it's paying off.
I love that.
All right.
What about you, Duce?
Over here locked out, guys.
Of his
The
computer.
Apple
You
again.
got locked out of the computer.
Yep. That's what just happened. So, can you re-ask me the question, or we'll leave it all in?
It was just the
Just
check-in,
check-in.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Say we-
yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
How am I? I am here, guys. It's been a long week. I ain't got much for y'all. Hug on your loved ones. Talk to your friends. You know what I'm saying? Real shit.
That's
I
real.
don't know why that's
Yeah.
funny, but like, yeah, you never know. You never know. Speak to your homies. You know what I'm saying? Live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, for real.
What was the question of the day, Diamond? What's the check-in question?
What's your perfect day in Philly? What's your dream day in Philly?
My dream day in Philly. Somebody else go first.
All right, I'm gonna go fast because I got 3 stops. That's what I said earlier. So I can't think of a full
man.
dream day, but look, you always can go to like Kelly Drive. You know what I'm saying? There's so much length on Kelly Drive. You got the water right there. You got the sun right there. You could just take a walk. You know what I'm saying? Have a good conversation. You could chill out. I think that's a good way to do it, but you gotta have a snack. So me, I like smoothies. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a smoothie so that way you feeling healthy. You got your blood flowing to keep you satiated, so you're not too full, but you can keep moving around. And then, I mean, you could do dinner somewhere, but I feel like you gotta end the night on like a rooftop. I like rooftops, so like somewhere above, kind of like in your own space. If you with somebody, if not, you in your own vibe, something like that on the rooftop. End it like that. Yeah, in Philly. You gotta enjoy the weather because that breeze, that rooftop breeze is nice.
I love that.
Yeah, we have the same mind there because your plan has a lot of like you got to be outside,
Yeah.
and that's definitely my like perfect day as well. So I would just add to yours because I like Kelly Drive. Before we stop at Kelly Drive, you got to stop at a cafe, and it got to be like a Black-owned little spot. Like I'm thinking, so right now I live uptown, either like Vault and Vine or Uncle Bobby's. Those are two of my favorite Black-owned uptown spots. You gotta stop for like a matcha, a little pastry, something you can nibble on, read a book. A book in the morning is just like, mwah. Then you can start your walk. Then you can go to Kelly Drive, walk down. If we're going down to like the Fairmount area, I would stop at Pura Pecha for lunch. Pura Pecha is a Mexican spot down in like the Chinatown, like right off the highway, right off Vine Street. That has really good guac, really good tacos, just really good. And it's very low key. They don't take reservations, so it's not a super packed out spot. Pura Pecha is a must in the middle of the day. And then let's see. I don't know that I have a specific spot as much as I second you on either the rooftop vibes or just like the outdoor vibes. If it's like summer, I don't know if y'all been to the lawn at U City, which is like that little
Yeah,
outdoor
so
spot outside of
cute.
Two Locals.
Yeah.
Love that. So maybe that's like a little happy hour spot.
Yeah.
Or okay, keeping the outdoor vibes going. After that, you could go to Pent Ridge Station. If it's in the summer, Pent Ridge Station is this super local little West Philly outdoor bar that is just like so cool and funky and calm. There's DJs, so that might be it's an all outdoor day if it's my perfect Philly day. Yeah.
I love that. Mine is similar. I will also stop at a cafe. My cafe of choice would be out west in West Philly.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Food is too good
Yeah.
to even like think about. Like your normal cafe don't got this kind of food. Like it's insane. Shout out to out west and down north and just everything. I just think they're doing amazing work. But yeah, I would get a matcha and some food from out west. I probably would go down Center City. Even though I'm from Philly, I definitely am gonna put Rittenhouse Square Park in there. Like
It's cute.
when I'm in that area, I just feel like I'm not even in Philly for
Right.
real. So yeah, my dream day would be going down there, maybe a little bit of gardening, probably go see a movie by myself. Philadelphia Film Society, Boris Theater, that's my favorite movie theater to go to, and I always go there to see movies by myself. And when I do, I'm like, oh, this was the perfect day. So probably to go see like a movie that I can't wait to see at that theater. leave, maybe go get a massage in Chinatown. If y'all have never had like a professional massage, Chinatown is full of great massage places, and like go on TikTok, because TikTok will tell you like the ones that are like really good. I would probably go get like a massage or something affordable. And then maybe my favorite restaurant is Via La Costa. I probably would end at Via La Costa on Vine Street, I think. Yeah, Vine Street. And yeah, that would be my dream day. I think that's everything.
Oh, y'all giving out game right
Giving
now.
out game
Man.
for real.
I think my perfect day, I'm gonna start at the gym. I probably go to Planet Fitness on 52nd Street. Why do I like that gym? I don't know. It just feel like home.
Okay.
And then after I leave the gym, I'll probably go do something creative. A theme of my day is a little push and pull. So I need a little struggle to make me feel accomplished. So I'll probably go do something creative. Either I'll go to the studio or I'll go shoot something on the camera. Go make something that I wanted to make. After that, I like a movie by myself. I'll go to the Film Society, watch a movie, or go somewhere to watch a movie, and then I'll end it off at a spa somewhere. I'm not getting a massage. One of the Turkish baths.
What?
I like a Turkish bath.
Okay.
If you don't know about
What's
the
a Turkish bath?
So a Turkish bath is basically it contrasts cold with hot. So it's like a sauna, and it's like a cool plunge.
Well, there's two different types, because there's like the Turkish bath room, which is the one that we've gone to, and then we've also been to the Turkish bath, which is the spa full of those old Turkish men.
So a part of the
That's what I think everyone's reacting to.
a part of the Turkish bath is the hot cold, like that's like the philosophy behind it. Mm-hmm. But also in a lot of them, it's like a big pool area, it's like a spa essentially, where some old men might walk around naked. You can't worry
That's
about
their
all those
hangout
things.
spot. Like,
I might have to fuck with the Turkish.
I'm trying to tell you, it'll change your life. And this is how you do it. This is how you gotta do it. This when you go there, this is how you do it. You go into the sauna, you get hot, and then you either do the cold plunge, like you hop into the cold bath for like 5 minutes, or you put the cold shower on you for like 5 minutes. Then you go back into the hot, and you do 5 in, 5 out, 5 in, 5 out.
That doesn't sound relaxing.
Like a body.
It don't sound relaxing,
when you
but it
finish,
it like
feel
you're
like you
rejuvenated.
feel
Like I
you
don't
was a
know.
new person.
Yeah, no lie.
What if you did that in the shower? Like I just turned on the cold.
Like I'm saving my money.
Matter of fact, I pay for that water bill every month.
The only difference I can see is that in the sauna situation, it's so hot. Like,
Right.
The environment too.
The whole room is
the
hot.
whole room
like,
is hot. Like the whole, like you
sweat.
really releasing, you really sweating, and then you do the switch, the change is so dramatic. Like that's the only difference I can see.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
in
Try
theory,
it.
you could probably do something close to it in the shower though.
That's funny. I never thought of it.
Got you.
Yeah.
wow, that's a great perfect day. My perfect day starts off at the airport.
It's supposed to be your dream day in Philly.
Straight to Vegas, straight to Vegas or Houston. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I'm going right to the Breakfast Club when I get there.
Like, it's supposed to be your dream day
I
in
know.
Philly. This nigga talking about I'm going to the airport.
He was in Philly.
Philadelphia
Starts off at
International
TSA
Airport.
pre-check. You know what I'm saying? Out of here.
Yo,
No.
Vegas or Houston? No, that's just
No, I should have ended my day with then I got a
Quick.
flight.
Then
That would have
then
been
I
a real
got a
perfect
flight.
day.
Yep.
Bags was already
if I'm
packed.
telling the truth, but I'm gonna give y'all like a perfect like pod day, like how these joints used to go for me. Wake up, we do a pod early. Take the pod to a brunch like Cafe Lit. It's a good restaurant. It's downtown. Good restaurant. They bring your own champagne so you can stay. You know what I'm saying? Keep the day party rolling.
Love Cafe Lit.
Then you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna say it's summertime, so day parties popping. So I would head to the Mushaloo. Go for a little day party,
Ooh.
have a little
You
fun there.
expensive.
Have a
You
little
the birthday
fun
dinner.
there.
You expensive.
No, they be having day parties on that joint. It don't be. It be a good time. Be a good time, and the food do be good. But it'd be like for free. You got You know, Philly. Some old heads run. It's called Smoke on the Water. I give them a shout out.
Oh.
But it's like a cigar lounge type event on the Mushaloo, but like it's like a day party, really. Like old heads smoking cigars over here, but it's a whole nother vibe on that joint. Then we probably end the day with like in the crib, probably playing some game now. I got kids, man. I'm trying to be back in the crib as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So. You know what I'm saying? That's Philly, but Vegas, you know what I'm saying? Houston, we'll find out in the later episode about what I would do there.
Love that.
Me. Well,
Crying.
I'm used
You
to
gotta be sharper than that. Like,
I'm used to you steering the conversation.
No, I love that transition. Well,
No, I love hearing about everyone's perfect days because I feel like there's a little bit of everyone in it. Whether you like a calm type, whether you turn all day, you in Vegas, like that's a little bit of everyone in one.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's time to get to work. Okay. Today I am really curious about this post I saw. It was basically a summarization of a Substack article. And I love this new trend of people essentially writing long form thoughts on Instagram or on Substack and then condensing those thoughts into like think pieces on Instagram that like actually interrogate deeper thoughts. So it's just like a bit more substance than just like your typical reels, blog post, whatever. And this one was titled, "Are we building businesses or buying time?" And essentially, the post is musing on the question of whether or not the sort of boom in entrepreneurship that we've experienced over the last few years is actually a move towards freedom for entrepreneurs, or is it really just labor, the same type of labor that we were performing under, working a 9 to 5, just with even more risk for the entrepreneur themselves. So essentially, are entrepreneurs moving more towards the actual freedom that everyone is talking about, or are you essentially just packaging your time in a different way, but still now you don't have an HR, now you don't have retirement, now you don't have benefits, but you're still working on this sort of like pay to play way with larger corporations. Yeah. And I thought it was just an interesting conversation because we represent a mix up here of people that are either like full-time entrepreneurs, a half and half, people that have had bad experiences with working in 9 to 5, people that have had bad experiences with being entrepreneurs, all of that. So I'm just really curious how y'all feel. And maybe we can take it from a personal lens first and then sort of zoom out to the general. So I'm curious, have you all felt or experienced entrepreneurship as a step closer to freedom? Or has it felt a bit like this is kind of the same conditions as before, just in a different way?
Yeah. For me, both in a way. Like, I feel like I've been experiencing both, where I do feel like right now I'm leaning more towards the latter, where I feel like I'm in a position where I feel like I'm just packaging the same stuff that I was doing for a 9 to 5, but I don't have health insurance and I don't have like some of the benefits that come with that. But I also feel like that is kind of like the beginner journey of possibly obtaining that freedom one day, to where one day these systems run for me and I'm not having to do X, Y, and Z. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, I do feel more of like the latter right now and wondering how I can just make that different, like make that feel different for me. And I specifically right now, one of my contracts is an event. So kind of like a creator summit. And I realized, I was talking to someone today and I realized that event production is my thing, but I haven't been this knee deep into event production. I'm telling you, like all the logistics, the talent, the everything in almost a year. The last event that I like ran to this level was YouTube, that happened last May. And I realized I was like, oh my God, I feel so tired and overwhelmed lately. And I was like, it almost feels like how it did when I had my 9 to 5. Like I feel just busy. I feel overwhelmed. I'm tired. I don't want to work. Like I was feeling like that. And I was like, I think it's because it reminds me of how taxing event production is when you're leading it or you're managing it. Like it is probably one of the most consuming parts of production specifically. And I was like, damn, I haven't been in this mode in a while. And I realized that I'm just in it because I'm doing an event again. So I was just kind of feeling like, how do I not make it feel like this? Like, why does it feel like I'm back at my 9 to 5? And I think the answer is like, I don't have the answer, but I just know how it feels right now. And I'm hoping I know what I want it to feel like in the future. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That's honest.
I think I wanted to read one slide from the Substack that you're talking about, just to give it a little more context. And she said, let's be clear, monetization is not the same as liberation. Turning creativity into income is not inherently radical if the underlying terms remain extractive. In many cases, the freedom of self-employment masks a more insidious truth, one where individuals assume the liability of corporations without the protections. There are no HR departments in hustle culture, no retirement plans, no labor unions, no safety nets. And I think to Diamond's point just now, that was an early stage that I was in the winners culture. Even though it's still in the early stages, I would say, I think I could very clearly see how quickly this could turn into just a hustle type situation, a situation that is primarily based in just running around without the purpose that's kind of tied to a job. Even in the situation of having a an organizational structure, like the fact that when you work in a job that you have a team, that you have a group of people that you're accountable to and that's accountable to you. And then the other side of it is that with it just being yourself, you responsible for all of the outcomes. And so it really feels like you could get the feeling, I could strongly agree how you get the feeling like it's a boost to your ego almost, but it's also a burden. It's also hard because it's just you and you just running around and you just doing it by yourself. And if you don't make intentional choices to create systems that sustain and to build like teams, then you and we see this a lot with some of the clients that we serve with the winners culture, some of the people that we've been able to work with, the success only keeps growing. Like as long as you remain consistent, you're going to continue to ascend. But that doesn't mean that systems are created because you ascended. And it doesn't mean that you're more capable to handle the increased workload just because you are deemed as more successful. And so a lot of times people in those situations are overcome by the weight of the thing. And that's a lot of the people that we end up servicing is people that are in deeper than what they have capacity to handle because the thing grew before their internal systems grew. And so that's one thing that I feel like I was saying in the check-in, I've been super conscious and diligent about is the other side of it, to say what does it look like if we create systems that can sustain people internally and can help people externally who are in the same problem. Because what we don't need is people giving up on the thing because they don't have capacity to carry out the thing, especially in black spaces, because we don't have enough people with the audacity to try, with the ambition to try. And so I think that the answer is really is in if you're going to hustle like that for other people, you also have to invest in creating those systems and understanding like what that actually looks like. What does it mean for my company to have benefits that it gives out to employees, or what does it mean to have a company structure, or what does that look? And once again, what's it look like for you. You cannot copy somebody else because what they did is different from what you are doing in every single way. And so taking the time to be diligent and conscious about that, I think is super important.
But can I boil the question down for you?
Yeah.
Does entrepreneurship feel like a step closer to freedom, or does it feel like repackaging the same work that you were, not the same work, because it's totally different work than what you was doing before, but does it feel like the same obligation just packaged differently?
I think for me, it feels like a step towards freedom because of the way that I think about things. I was in a lot of educational type hierarchies where it's a lot of politics involved. It's a lot of different ways you have to teach things. It's a lot of different ways you have to say things. So to me, what my definition of freedom was controlling the narrative about what we deliver more so than it was necessarily like financial freedom or just the ability to literally have no responsibility.
So like the freedom to say what you want, to say what you think is effective, not what they told you was effective.
Yeah, my definition of freedom wasn't I want to have less responsibility. I want to have less people relying on me. I want to have the ability to do what I want, when I want, anytime that I want. That wasn't what I seen freedom as, because to me, I don't think that aspiration of freedom is helpful in community. especially not at the stage where Black people are currently at. It goes to another conversation that we can have later. But I think that for me, the way that I was seeing freedom was, if we can empower community, if we can, help a business owner stay on their feet, if we can talk about the things that we really need to talk about or teach in the ways that we really need to teach, then we're getting closer to freedom, as not even freedom, to power as a collective. And that was more so my goal.
Yeah, I have one question, I guess, when it comes to that, because I often think about this when it comes to entrepreneurship and people saying that you have to find your niche.
Yeah.
But the thing with finding your niche is, once you find it, like, that's your lane, and then there's a time and a place for your lane. Like, your lane may not become universal. And then if it does become universal, it kind of washes out everything else that's happening at the same time. So I think it's like people trying to find the balance of, like, when I'm doing my thing, and I think we need more of, like, there shouldn't just be one, because I could do it today, but that might not mean I can do it tomorrow. Like, somebody else should be able to do it tomorrow, and maybe even fill in the same niche tomorrow for another event. So I think it's like you said, supporting people to support one another's niches, but also being okay with, like, your role and understanding the timing of when your thing is going to happen, and you having the capacity to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's for me why I'm always, even though sometimes when people ask me, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever work another 9 to 5 again. And then a part of me also feels like, well, if the right role, like if the right role came about that I felt like I was super passionate about with the right company, it's like a part of me, I feels like, oh yeah, I would take that, because of that idea of, like, I do think, the creator economy is going to grow. Like, we all know, they talk about it all the time. Like, the creator economy is predicted to grow X billion dollars by 2027. And, like, we've seen it grow already, like, especially our generation. We know now people are full-time content creators, which wasn't a thing even 8 years ago. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, we understand that. But I always wonder, like, if things will happen that are out of my control, and if I can afford to go, like, something like, God forbid, something like COVID, like, it, like, where it's like, I work in event production, like, if there was something that happened where we had to stay indoors and there were no more events happening for the next 6 months, like, would I be able to afford to miss that money? So it almost scares me in a way, and not even just something like that, but it's just like, even in entrepreneurship, like, you'll have a bad 3 months, like, that's normal. And it's just like, when I think of freedom, I think of financial freedom, and, like, what I want for myself, what I want for my future kids, what I want for my nieces and nephews. And it's just like, am I okay with possibly having a bad 3 months? Like, am I okay with that? And can I get comfortable with that versus having a consistent paycheck and being able to show up differently in my work? Because I think people who have full-time 9 to 5s that align with their creative passion, where they're able to work their 9 to 5, get a paycheck, get the health insurance, get the benefits of it all, and then be able to pour into a side hustle, but not even have to pour so much of themselves. So it's like, now what does it look like if you're in the agency world for you to focus on 2 $50,000 contracts versus 8 $2,500 contracts? You know what I mean? So I think about that, and that's, like, not, again, something I have the answer to, but just something that crosses my mind consistently.
Yeah, I agree in so many ways with so many things everyone said. But in the freedom everyone talked about, my freedom, I feel like, from being an entrepreneur, and why I view it over 9 to 5, is the freedom to pivot. Like, in your current employment, when COVID hit, there was no, like, you had to literally leave your career. Like, I had to switch a whole different thing that I was doing because of the industry and how things switch and how people combined and things change. And in every aspect, I've seen, like, even I got friends who still work 9 to 5s, who, even in your 9 to 5, and I got siblings that feel unfulfilled still. Like, in a situation where you've been working your job and you got the benefit, you got the good career, but now you stagnant. Now you only can do this one thing for the rest of your life. And if you're cool with that, cool. But most people I bumped into after 5 years want to get a promotion, or now I got to look elsewhere if I want a job. So now you're switching up. And now the job world is more cruel in some of these ways, where some of the benefits she spoke about in that article don't really exist even in the 9 to 5 world. Like, the health benefits to directly take your paycheck. So some people I have a lot of places, but I can't pay to get health insurance from y'all. I got to get the Keystone first. Hopefully I can get the community insurance still. I make under the threshold. I got people that demand to be paid less to make sure they got those health benefits because it's so expensive from their employers sometimes. And then it's also the retirement plan. Like, I walked through a job where people, they got rid of that. It just was like, oh yeah, we was doing it, now we not.
That's nuts.
What happened to our
Damn.
pension? It's gone.
Right.
You've been here for
That's
30 years.
nuts.
It's
Where
gone.
that money just go?
So, but
Terrible.
in this situation, so like entrepreneurship is the freedom to pivot. You get to decide. Like if COVID hit, you get to get. Hey, you want to get your online career popping? It's your time to go. You want this? You get the decision to make it. So I think a lot of people get stagnant in the decision where you kind of turn your personal job into your 9 to 5. You work it the same way. You're doing it the same hours. You're scheduling it the same way instead of trying to find a creative way to how you would attack business in your life. Like I think I'm very beneficial because I have a partner who's been an entrepreneur for like over like the last decade. So like she in her life has things set up to where I'm not working every day. Like I don't have it don't make sense. I know how the budget is. I got my clients up. I know how to keep a client long term. So in those situations, you benefit from kind of learning about you more than yourself. Like I would ask you to make sure you take some time because I feel like you've been running. Like you just been running and you still like you killing this marathon. Like but sometimes you gotta pull off to the side, get the little break and assess like no like I'm fucking killing it. But like, do I want to kill it this way? Like that's what happened to me. It was killing it, but it was like, damn, this is not how what I envisioned. I'm pretty much worse than my 9 to 5, and I was doing 9 at the same time. So I had to stop and pivot and figure out what I was doing. But the ability to do that and not have to be anxious to somebody's boss, answer nobody code of contact, answer anything like that is the entrepreneurship freedom for me.
Yeah, no,
I
not
hear
to like just last thing I'll say on this point. But that's very much real and literally something I was just talking about today where. And I'm glad this question came up because I was telling somebody earlier this morning how when I was working my 9 to 5, I was so wrapped up in it that when it was over, I didn't know where myself and the job started and ended. Like I was so immersed into that job to the point that I was there more than I was home. Like I had clothes there and jackets there and food there and like kitchen appliances there because I was there so much of my life. And I promised myself when I left that job that I would never ever do that again. And that's why I'm like being so conscious about how I approach entrepreneurship because I don't want to get to that space again. Even something as simple as like you decide when you want to answer the phone for people when it's business related. You decide if you want to text back, if you want to email back. Like if you saying, yo, I'm done working at 6 o'clock. Like
And that's what
don't
it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like you get to decide that. So yeah, it's just all about putting it in practice.
Right.
I was about to say. I also think that no, you go ahead. Actually.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that. I also think that, like I was saying earlier, one of the tensions in the entrepreneurial space versus the corporation space, like I said, is that they have a community kind of built. They have something that we can become immersed into, so that can happen, so that you can become like all the way in something. Whereas a lot of times when we do what we do, it's just us. It's an individual pursuit. And so it doesn't feel like it's the same thing. It's the same type of thing happening. And a lot of times we don't know how these corporations started or the type of work that went into starting something. So it feels like what we're doing is something lesser than, which is crazy. This is a crazy comparison, but I was just thinking of this. We was watching Game of Thrones the other night, and it was at a point when Bronn, who's a sellsword, went to Jaime, who was a lord, and was like, I should be able to be the lord of this place. And Jaime was like, we'll never let a sellsword be lord. And he was like, well, how does a lord become a lord other than by killing people and then killing more people and then killing enough people that you become king? And I think that the way that relates to corporate is at some point it was just somebody with some ambition. It was just somebody that you would have looked down on that you didn't think was doing the thing, but just realized what they were doing and started doing the thing. And I think that's another thing, just overall in general in the black community, is that because we individualize things so much, it feels like when we go on an entrepreneurship journey, we're going off on an island, right? You left what your parents think is stable. You left what you think what the community thinks is stable. Now you almost crazy a little bit. Like what are you doing? You feel what I'm saying? Whereas there's another scenario where the community realizes the necessity of the entrepreneurship and applaud you and support you. We don't feel like we're alone in the journey, because I know there's these other organizations that are aligned with what I'm doing. So if business slows up for me, I can connect with this other organization over here and we can build each other up. So it never feels like that same type of low point, because like Jay was saying, the same type low points could happen in the corporation, but because it has that unified structure, it feels like something will catch me. Whereas in entrepreneurship, it doesn't feel like we have that net amongst community. So I did want to know what y'all think, or what y'all thoughts are on individualism versus a collective mindset in business in the Black community.
First of all, I'm stealing that for my keynote, like that concept of just like that entrepreneurs are the people, like, are related to corporations in the way that what you're doing right now is what those are at the highest level. And community might look at you and see you as an individual doing something, but like you are building, you have the potential to be building the foundation of like what an entire ecosystem is built off of. And that's just a matter of other people not seeing it that way, but you having the persistence to like keep going in that thing. And I also wanted to add that like, I think that what I'm doing also has some balance in it to the whole conversation, because I'm working this 9 to 5 where I'm getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. And I'm also being able to be an entrepreneur that has income that comes in sporadically through other contracts, other jobs, other engagements. And so to your point, Jay, about like being able to pivot, I feel very confident actually. And that's really through my engagement with the winners culture and seeing up close what it takes to like be an entrepreneur and to expand from a smaller thing into a larger thing, that should my job like fall out from the ground beneath me and I was standing on nothing, that I would be able to expand what I'm doing now into something that could sustain me. And so I feel like I have the best of both worlds, but the compromise is that I am literally working all the time, but we all are working all the time in some way, shape, or form. So I think that there is the ability in this modern age to take advantage of the ability to do both. If your primary thing is stability, while also like wanting that ability to pivot. You literally can do both now more than ever before. And I feel like I stand as living proof of that.
And I would say I would use this opportunity to finance your dreams. Like when I had that good mix, 9 to 5 plus entrepreneur work on the side coming in, it was good to establish to buy some things that I was holding off on getting, just because you never know when the storm is coming. But if you if you can invest into your own business, whatever that may be, like I don't know what, if it may be like sign a signature or branding or whatever it may be to invest in while you have multiple income sources, especially at 9 to 5 with those benefits. It's a good time to make sure because you can put that off and get it situated and get back to the side while you still stack up your 9 to 5 bread.
Yeah.
So like you don't have to if that rain day ever does come, you're not scrambling. You already set up.
Yeah.
That's definitely where I went left.
Yeah.
I said I jumped out the window with no cheese.
Yeah.
I jumped out the window with no savings. I was in a bad spot.
I just wanted to speak to what Jay and what you're saying too, because I have experienced that myself, where like being even like again from the agency side or like a 1099 contractor side, I know what it feels like to sign a contract for a year and have that contract get cut like 3 months in. That right there will punch you in the face, especially if you're expecting to make a certain amount of money each month for the remainder of the year. And in most contracts like that, the client has the right to cut that contract whenever, especially when it's that long. Like they have a right to pick up on March or whatever, God forbid, 3 months into the contracts and say, we don't want to actually work with y'all no more. Like, and then that's it. So I know what it feels like to be expecting that money and for that to set you back.
I don't got the resilience for that. Not in relation to no money. I really don't, because I just don't. Like you said it a lot and I really resonate with it. I'm not a money-driven person. I'm not a money-driven person. So the idea that now because of this crisis, I will have to orient my life in this like urgent way around making money quickly is a reality that anyone can fall into, is essentially what you're saying, because entrepreneurs that are working on a contractor basis can fall into it, as well as 9 to 5 employees that can get fired at will can fall into it.
Thanks.
But it's that's why this blend is like where I'm comfortable at right now, because both ends can like sustain each other. But I just like hate the idea that I was relying on this, and I've been on the opposite position where I work for the employer that is supplying the contract for someone that's not paying on time because the city doesn't pay their contracts on time, and we're faced with
it's very
small
scary.
businesses, entrepreneurs that I know on a person to person, you're my friend basis, and you can't pay out your employees or you can't pay your bills because our contract isn't coming through. I'm just like, that is. God bless y'all.
Some extra sauce for the entrepreneurs though. Definitely add the kill fee. Like, I mean, definitely had that in your drink when you sign in.
Independent contractors negotiate that severance just in case it come out. Like it's ways that you can insure yourself, especially in each of these fields. Somewhat, there's no perfect insurance. There's no such thing of it. But there's definitely ways. Like speaking Jada's community point, these filmmakers on YouTube. I sent them a video, but this guy spoke about real quick of him stepping away from his business for a while and him giving it to his friend. But in like his friend didn't have the money to buy it from him. All right. It was a production company, but he was like, I want to step away. I took it to where I was going to go. 15 employees running around the clock, and he's not creative no more. He just at the team, the top, and he like, I didn't want to do it. My business partner did, and I gave it to him. He wanted to take it in his own direction, which they did, but then in the way he gave it to him, my point here is like he gave him a situation where he paid him monthly to buy the business. So until the business was purchased, he would just give a monthly fee based upon, and he was already making the money. Like he gave him the business making money. So it's like all you gotta do is continue this, and I eat and you good, and you can take it to wherever you dream of taking it. I just went all the way out. But the guy ended up taking it to like something tech field, some software that didn't work, and he ended up defaulting it back. But it all went back to him. And he was like, "There's no beef." He went in there. I made sure he was good. I'm sending him work now. And it's a situation where your community around you can kind of like take like it's. I don't want to see businesses die anymore. Like a lot of times in our community, I've seen a lot of small businesses, a lot of self-pride, a lot of stuff that did good work disappear in the city. So like if it's a way where you can hand it off to somebody, take the torch for a little while, and then you may want to come back. You might want to do your own thing. Like he spoke in it. Like the same time Buddy was messing up the company a little bit, he said he wanted to get back into it. So it was a perfect timing for him.
Yeah, a lot of brick and mortar places just could not survive the pandemic and then the after effects of the pandemic. Like, I think it just, especially you think of food restaurants. I think we all know food restaurants that have closed down or changed in some kind of way after the pandemic. Like, I just think it's very hard to sustain a business through that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like that brings us to your point about the collective versus the individual, like Jay's larger conversation, and this idea of like, how much power do we have as individuals versus how much power we have as collectives? And there's the business side, but there's also the consumer side, which I feel like is a topic of conversation right now in regards to how we as consumers can utilize our power in collective to boycott certain institutions that don't have our best interest in mind, whether or not those boycotts are effective. I feel like there's a lot of different directions we can go in. Where you want to go?
My main thing first, I just want to see from the personal angle. Like, do you see business as an individual thing, or do you see it as a thing that is meant to be a collective pursuit?
I'll answer because I see it because like I have a partner who's definitely 100% individual in her business. Like like the deal of her bringing somebody into her is like kind of like skin like she stays off that idea. Like I get to she's figured out a perfect situation in her supply chain to do what she can do and take it as far as she want to go. It makes whatever enough she wants to do at this current point, and she has plans to take it higher. But those are all built in her own self, like worth and her own self needs, and how she's taking it to the next step. Whereas on this side, we're very me and JJ are very like a collective. We definitely work in tandem in that way, and in doing it that way, I'm 50-50 in the decision making of it. Like you can kind of go where you like. I see where it's successful in this way, but also I see what comes with that way, and also I see where this way people can do a bunch of different things to destroy the fabric that you kind of put something together with. Sometimes like people can take your kindness for weakness in entrepreneurship and shift, it might cause your mind to shift. Like I seen a couple people who had some things happen to them and shift to how they handled employment, how they handled people, how they handled their customers. So in that, it's very much a different tight walk when you're dealing with someone else, because now you got someone else speaking in for your brand, and y'all got to be aligned on what y'all doing. So both ways, I think, but the collective power way works out to me when you kind of do like the way we are talking about, where it's other entrepreneurs like her singular business for herself, but she definitely works with so many entrepreneurs.
That's what I was
like
going to say. She works with other entrepreneurs.
They'll vend together,
Yeah.
So in that way, she works with people, but it's not like her own product, her own business runs. It's just a community.
Yeah.
It's in a sense come from that, not more a sense of like any employment type thing. Like she's stayed off that notion, but I'm kind of like the opposite.
She doesn't have shared ownership of her business, but in order for it to like succeed and sort of like spread its seeds across the city, she has strong relationships and partnerships with other brands that are maybe individually owned, and that forms a community. But like the brand itself isn't like owned by a bunch of different people or even 2-3 people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's different types of community is like, I guess, what you're looking for, because even when we talk about individual versus social with the entrepreneurship, like you have to create that social proof so other people believe in the product, whether that's when they want to come work for the company or they want to come support the company. And I think I guess like in your case, Jay, like individually, she's created her own silo. So now she can can collaborate with other individuals who collaborate that same way. Versus like if I'm running a event or a show and I need people to buy in on my idea for the show, will y'all come work with me? Do y'all think the show is going to turn out people? Do y'all think the show is going to be effective? Like, do y'all want to put your creative input in it, or am I just asking for your labor? Like, what type of social buy-in am I also asking for you to then get social buy-in from other people that come to the show? So I think it's just like, what type of community are you trying to build as an entrepreneur, and then like, how do you go about it? I guess would be my question.
Yeah.
I think I always thought of business as a collective thing, which I don't even know if it makes sense in America. I don't even know if that even makes.
I mean,
I don't
makes
even
sense in America. It's some people that think like you.
I don't even know if that. What I'm saying is that a lot of the businesses that I came in contact with definitely were more so one man shows. My mom had a business. Her business was a one woman show. Shout out to her clothing store that she had open. And I think my collective approach more so was in the thought that we are more powerful together, and that is what is necessary. Shout out to G from 524, one of my mentors in this whole thing, and he's also a type of person that preached that mentality that, like, bro, if you get 3% of something that does well, and you get another 3% of something else that does well, and you like eventually. You have to play the long game, but the long game is more sustainable than what it's like trying to push for the short game up front. Like,
And you got to do everything and own everything and collect on
yeah,
everything.
you gotta, like pay your friends well, make people believe in what you got going on, like make community around the business that you're creating, so much so that like talking about me and him, like we always going to be connected. Whatever he got going on, I got going on. Whatever I got going on, he got going on. Just off the sense of our relationship that we've built between each other, we got each other backs in that way. But that allows us to do so much more as individuals because we're together. And I think that concept is really the concept that winners culture was built on. Like, that's why it is what it is. Like, that's why it's called what it's called. Is because the idea that if we want to do this thing actually, and we look at some of our ancestors, the people that came before us, the people that were practicing collective economic practices, those were some of our most wealthy periods as a people. Like, we're going to line all our businesses up on the same strip, right? We're going to fund, and this is not nothing new. This is what other cultures do as well. But I think that Black people are more American than what we try to claim. Not only are we more American, we lean conservative. We lean towards the right, in the sense that we thinking individualistic instead of thinking collective. We thinking, how do we preserve old ways of thinking? And in these old ways of thinking, they're not even our ways of thinking. We're thinking, how do we preserve the systemic ways of thinking that we have been taught, instead of moving to something that would be more progressive, like the Panther Party. You see what I'm saying? Like the like Malcolm X and those type of collectives, where from the beginning of the movement, it is said that the point of what we're doing is to come together and create a network of something greater. It's not just me and I'm just a mouthpiece for something greater. I think is the thought that if we can prove that this works, like even on the business model of the winners culture, I think it can start to debunk some of the thoughts that I have to be this super independent entrepreneur, this thing. And I can actually get with a collective of people that's all doing different things, but they hold each other up, so it doesn't feel like as much of a fall if something happens to what I have going on. I have people right now that if they going through something, they call me like, yo, this is the situation, this contract pulled out, how can you whatever, and then we work together to say, like, you know what, we can do this like that. And a lot of times it's worked to the, a lot of people wouldn't believe that that's the thing, but if you build a network out enough, it creates its own safety net. So that's my thoughts on the matter.
I was that reminds me of me hearing Wallow and Gilly talk one time, and I think it was Gilly that was saying, like, you got too many he was specifically talking about YNs, but he was saying like you got too many of y'all that want to be like the artists and y'all not linking up with the photographer and the videographer and the graphic designer and actually curating something, but everybody just want to be the artist and nobody's actually working together. And we were in like a room full of people and he was literally like, how many people do music in here right now? And like people raised their hand. He was like, how many people do videography in here right now? And people raised their hand. He was like, y'all need to be talking to each other because that's what creates content, that's what creates an ecosystem, that's what creates community, versus one person feeling like I can do it all on my own. But I also understand and I think we talked about this before on the pod, like the fear and the hesitancy around creating your own team and curating that, and whether it should be your friends or if it should be people that you meet organically that are professionals in that specific lane, and kind of what that looks like. So yeah, just what you said just made me think of that.
Yeah.
And that's one of those that you really, when it comes to like, should it be people that I'm friends with? Should it be people that I'm not friends with? I think to one of your earlier points, JJ, that's something that you got to find out for yourself and that you cannot take nobody on the internet advice about, because there will be stories of people that chose all their best friends and it worked super well. And there'll be stories of people that chose their best friends and it was a disaster. But that really is a matter of you using your discernment and also understanding your work style. Right? Like, who do you get along with? How do you communicate? How do your friends communicate? What are your goals, ambitions, all of that? That's not an internet advice thing.
Yeah.
But all this is making me realize that probably one of the reasons why I align with the way that you see things, this whole conversation has been reminding me of the dance studio that I grew up in that my family founded. So y'all know I'm from Queens, and in Queens, I grew up in a dance school called the Movement of the Children's Dance Center that my aunts founded. And I come from a family of literally 7 aunts, well, 6 aunts, 1 uncle, so 7 in total. And the 6 aunts that I had collaborated for my entire life to run this community center dance school that ran every Saturday. We had Christmas recitals and June recitals, and we danced out all around the city of New York. And it sounds like it's a small thing, but I just know it wasn't, right? Like there were 6 of them that collaborated. One did finance. My mom did the music and the costumes. One did transportation, kids back and forth. 2 or 3 were the choreographers. So like everyone contributed in their various ways, and that's how it sustained for literally 50 years. And I also know they was beefing for points all throughout that 50 years, largely because like binding together with people that you love over a shared purpose comes with trials and tribulations, which is why you can't take no one's advice for it. You literally just have to experience it. But I really do feel like that is a secret sauce that people are missing in this like entrepreneurial boom. Is it's really not about you doing it by yourself, because even if in the instance, like that's where I was going to with sin, is like, even if you are the person that like you are the brainchild, or this is your brainchild and you control it 100%, you still need to rely on other people outside of yourself at some point, whether it's for distribution, whether it's for marketing, whether it's for all these different pieces. And that is really that's what it's about. I feel like everything comes back to community at the end of the day at some point.
Britt ain't actually killing if I don't mention her TikTok shop. So her TikTok shop is her own thing that she go. That thing took off crazy. It's her own drawing.
Right.
And to Monty, I don't know why we don't think of family business like entrepreneurship, because I grew up in the film. My grandparents was mechanics and race car and all that my whole life, but like I don't consider entrepreneurship in my brain. Like when my
but it is.
But it is the same.
And that's because I feel like we associate this wave of entrepreneurship with an aesthetic. It's about the fact that you have a brand and that you have a brand kit and a font and all that. That makes you an entrepreneur. No, the small businesses that have been powering our communities for decades are entrepreneurs. They may not have had a QuickBooks. They may have been keeping their records in a little accounting ledger that they tucked under their mattress, whatever it is. But they were entrepreneurs, and they have a certain sort of secret sauce that we could still be learning from. And I really feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That the family business and like with JJ has an athlete's heart in this. Like he has a like that team together mindset overall. Like even like for like somebody who's seen somebody be crossing business and still get back up, be like, no, I'm still rocking the same way. Like it's rare in this, and like that's the family owned part to me. Like of it, like in family, like it was beefing, but it's never like a beef to where we dissolve and like it's never was like my uncle, like it was beef. They might have rumbled, but we back here on Saturday getting the job done. So like in a situation, like it's definitely that mindset of like where he has that athlete mindset, but also it's like a family mindset that kind of keep this thing going to where you kind of can view other people, because like we had family adjacent people because of that business, like people you bump into they've been parlaying for your whole life, and people don't see that as like the collaboration, but it is, and it works out, and it's why these things sustain so long.
All right, y'all, grab your drink, kick your feet up, loosen your tie.
There we go.
We getting into the break room. Jay, what we got?
All right. Well, coming off of a crazy time, I don't even know how to start off with Offset's debts because I see they back up way before I knew they existed. So like, Offset is somebody who seems to be. We were having an off break room conversation, guys, breaking the fourth wall, getting on Patreon. We were having a conversation about the differences in business and how you go about who you should take money from and how you move through money. And Offset seems like somebody that takes money from anybody. So like he was out here taking some money, and after a while you kind of overstay your welcome. So he was in the casino, I believe in Atlantic City, close to Miami. I'm sorry. He was in Miami. He was in the casino. He ran up a tab close to $1 million. I think 899, and they asked him the 500,000. So they was like, no. In the mix of that, he mupping a little TJ who already owed 10,000. So you just lost almost $1 million, and now somebody who you owe 10 bands to is in your face. So they have some words, and then I heard this story a couple different ways about like I'm not giving you the academics breakdown, but a scuffle ensued. I don't believe TJ was involved the way people are saying he was involved, but a scuffle ensued. In that scuffle, people were fighting, some people were losing, and then somebody gets shot in the butt. That person who gets shot in the butt happens to be Offset. Offset gets shot in the butt after this, but they said he was giving.
Not gangster.
They said whoever he was fighting, he was
Not gangster to get shot in the butt.
he was winning the battle. Yeah. But in a situation that on top of in ownership, that goes right also into Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty too, who also in a situation of where it comes to, I want to say, feel like it's debt to me because Pooh Shiesty feel like he's owed a debt from Gucci. Mm-hmm. Gucci I've been signed to you since my career. I've been hottest fishery since the moment my mic touched the Pooh Shiesty's been, I don't know what it is about some people who can do things outside, but he can make some music. So he's been on fire. Like they said, he made him $28 million. Mm-hmm. So like in a situation, while he's been incarcerated for most of the time, he's been on a label. So in that time, he felt as though Gucci might have owed me or let me out so I can make my own money. Mm-hmm. So he decided to take this in his own hands, like Lil TJ, or Lil TJ crew, whoever, you know what I'm saying, in that side, took it in his own hands, set up a fake meeting for Gucci to come through and run down on him to sign the contract. Now, if they had anybody like we talked about in community and friendship, somebody would have said this contract is now non and void because he's under duress. Mm-hmm. But nobody does that. They take it. They take the jewelry. They go on the gram. They do anything because to them it's all street culture. Like Gucci is like a street staple. Mm-hmm. So in him being a street staple, he kind of is going completely against his grain currently right now. Where sounds like especially Pooh Shiesty, the whole crew, nobody thought he would do this. He gave a statement to the feds that was read out loud. He also just made a record that details the whole event very vividly. Like I be trying to fight for lyrics not in court, but when y'all do this dumb shit, it'd be like, why would you say, you don't have to give a statement now. This is it. It matches the video we saw. Right. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Like people don't understand, like you got to corroborate video evidence, but whole nother story on that. But in this case, like all these people in this lane have brung street politics into business. And do we feel like that is something that has to? And I was mainly hip hop culture, but I feel like that is a spinoff of black culture, a big one that kind of took over the world. So like in it has still some street elements, but they kind of like it depends on what sector of it you are in. So like, do y'all feel like these street elements got to stay in hip hop or stay in our culture, or like we should kind of weed them out?
That's a difficult question because like so much of what's become hip-hop culture is from the streets because we were in a marginalized situation. So this is how we learned to deal with things. Like you couldn't call the cops because if you do, they're only going to escalate the situation. So me and you got to figure this out. But are we equipped with, business skills to have a conversation and come to an agreement? Sometimes, yeah, but a lot of times, no. And it seems like in Offset and CJ's case and Gucci and Shiesty case that this was past conversation. We just need to get it done and this is what's going to happen. But I think what throws things off with the Gucci situation is he went to the system by going to the feds, and it also makes me think of Cam and J. Cole situation where Cam gave him a lawsuit and went about this a business way. Like, we got a relationship. I'm not going to run up on you and make you sign this thing saying you owe me an interview, but I'll get your attention by, calling the lawyers. And it's like some people feel a way about that too. Like, you run into the system. Is that okay to do it? So it makes me think of, I guess, black masculinity as a whole, and like what is what seems appropriate to be like, I'm still handling mine, but I need to go about this in a way where I can get your attention but not escalate the situation and then still hold you accountable, but get what I need out of the situation. So I guess my question would be like, what does conflict resolution look like now, or do we just need to equip our men with better tools to be able to handle a conflict resolution without resulting in somebody going to the hospital, somebody going to jail, or anything that makes it worse, and now we're involved in other entities. Now it's not me and you no more because I'm in the hospital. Now it's not me and you no more because now we still got the cops involved. So how do we handle that?
To me, in this situation, now that you say that, what I think of is like business and the streets aren't really that compatible. Like they are. It's two separate things going on. And if somebody decides to play the other game, it's going to put the other party in a compromising position. Right. You know, so like if in Gucci's situation, if Gucci plays it the street way, what's the only thing you could do? You really gotta kill Pooh Shiesty. Like right. you gotta take it. Like you can't just rob him back because another staple of the street culture situation, the escalation. Whatever they did to you, you do to them worse. You see what I'm saying? And in the situation with Gucci, he would have had to take it to a place that would have jeopardized his own livelihood. But on Pooh Shiesty's side, if I handled it on the business side, he signed me to a bad deal. How do I get out of a bad deal? Why did I sign a bad deal?
You can't get out. That's good.
Right. Why did I sign a bad deal in the first place? Is because honestly, I think I'm not relying on, my knowledge of law in this deal. I'm relying on my strength as a man, as you're saying. When I'm in this situation, if I need to get out, I'm gonna rob somebody. Just like in the streets, if I'm down, I'm gonna rob somebody.
And
like
Gucci
that's my
aligned perfectly with the streets.
Right.
Like he signed to somebody that like from that time, like Gucci Gucci got a hit, like this is public knowledge. So like Gucci got a hit sent on him, and he eliminated the threat himself, and then dropped a song about it.
Right.
And it set the streets on fire. So in that time, until recently, Gucci is the epitome of street.
What it means.
So like in a situation like and when I'm hearing you speak, it remind me like the best thing about this part of the street was never be street to street. It was always supposed to be someone getting taken advantage of. Like in the business aspect of the street of the music label, it's usually a weaker artist getting taken advantage by a label, or if you want to take it down to like the smallest form, it's usually a in-house producer who you met, who heard you can rhyme a little bit, invite you to the studio. Now you signing a deal that give him your rights for the rest of your life because you just lived on this block. Right. So like it's the same idea, and it comes from a thing of strength, but it's opposed upon the weak. So like if Pooh Shiesty case, it was always like it was always going to meet this head because these are two opposing forces that were never supposed to, like it was never supposed to be street to street. Like it's like business to business. It was supposed to be street to lesser like he's always supposed to be someone I can take advantage of. You got to be weaker than me for the street ideals and morals to work. So when both sides are equally at some point is going to meet a
why not
very
put
big
him on
collision.
game though? Why sign him to a bad deal in the first place? Like
because that's what happened.
Capitalism.
This is all
crazy.
over the league. I mean, not the league. The whole industry of rappers who become labels who just sign other artists to bad deals.
Which is
like it happened. It becomes this thing of a rite of passage. It becomes a thing like, well, I got to get mine. It comes a thing of like back to our whole point in the early conversation from Let's Get to Work. It's very much greed and something like the reason why people don't end up like JJ in this community thing. It's a greed thing. Well, why would I want to give you a part of this? I got $100,000 contract. People don't in their brain don't go like, oh, I got to get you 20, you 40. You're like, I got 100,000.
Right.
I'm gonna catch y'all later. Was y'all names on this?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm gonna holler at y'all. So like that part of it is where we at in the someone's trying to take advantage.
Yeah, speaking to the greed point, I was thinking about that with the Offset thing specifically because I think obviously our perception of money is different than a famous person's perception of money, but also when you get to a certain level, you become greedy naturally because of the amount of money. Like what we would consider how much income Offset brings in is probably rich to us. But if you obviously knowing Offset in the history of the Migos, obviously what Offset is bringing in today is not what he was bringing in 6 years ago. It probably looks nothing like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is that difference that increases that level of greed because it's like, oh, I'm used to getting this much. Like at one point in time, you couldn't go, and it's still like obviously Migos itself have left such a legendary and lasting footprint on the culture at large, music culture. Like I think our kids are probably going to be dancing to Migos or reciting Migos songs later down the line, because I think they've left that much of a stamp. But obviously, like, Migos are not together anymore, and we know artists make most of their money off of touring. They're not together, so they're not touring. He's probably not bringing in even half of the income that he's used to. And same with Gucci Mane, where like Gucci Mane probably know what it's like to have a world tour, knows what it's like to have a #1 hit single and what that money looks like. So I think celebrities, that's the scary part about celebrities, because it's low key, like when you think about it, it's a cycle and it's never enough. Because it's like, unless they're making the same amount of money they was making when they had that #1 hit album and they was on tour and they were running this and third, they're always going to look at it as like, I'm broke right now, or I'm down right now, or I need more money, essentially, because their lifestyle, it's just not consistent. It's just not.
I think that made me think too. Something that we speaking on earlier about just the individualism versus the collective. When you lack purpose in your money making, it's a black hole. Like there is no, because there was never a goal. And a lot of times in this situation with a group like Migos, they started popping when they was like early 20s, right? I mean, honestly, unless you have a strong mentor in the situation, like Gucci was supposed to be for Shiesty, there's nobody telling you what to do with your money. There's nobody telling you this is the goal for us as rappers, because honestly, it's going to dry up. And when it dries up, you need to have a plan A, B, C. That's one thing that I do salute, like the NFL, the NBA. When you first get in the league, they have classes to teach you how to manage your money. It also comes down to a lack of knowledge of economics, of your finances. You don't know how to money manage. And so you get in this situation where you need more. And that also is the same situation with Gucci and Shiesty. If Gucci is in a situation where I need you to make me this money, you can't get out this contract and you can't know about it. I know you don't know about it. And like Jay was saying, it's part of the game, but it's a necessary part of the game for me, because I got to mention you not at the stage where you supporting the organization. You at the stage where you an up and coming rapper, so be an up and coming rapper. Shiesty looking at it like, you're getting all this money and I'm not. I just got out of jail. I should be in a better position. Why are you not putting me in a better position? And all of it is a conversation around economics that we don't have as a black community, which puts us all in a stage where it's like, I have to fend for myself.
Yeah, it also is a conversation about fairness, that like Riz, or initial question of like, why wouldn't he just put him in a better position at the beginning of his deal? That like, if you started the deal all from a position of like, this is shrouded in secrecy and like exploitation, everything that follows after that is deeper into secrecy and exploitation. But in order for everyone to actually understand what's happening here, in order for everyone to understand the terms that you agreed to, what works, what doesn't, there needs to be some level of fairness and transparency, and that just don't exist.
Yeah, to JJ's point earlier, I think they kind of still go like even the business of weed though. I see so many similar things in the street, things that people do things and it still happens, and it's legal. Like people legally do it. Like in this case, I want to speak about the outside force in this, because we leaving on a big part of this is Yo Gotti and that whole movement over there of CMG.
What's
where,
that? Like, how does it add to?
So
Gorilla, it adds to it is that's the team where Pusha was going. So he must have got this deal to go to CMG, because you got people like you got, I think the first song that hit for him that came on, not the first day out, that hit crazy for Pusha, but the Gorilla record hit as well. So like in the situation, he was over there and that team, like Gorilla is up, like Yo Gotti has a different way of doing business than Gucci Mane. So like hearing about that, and the same thing in the business world, your competitors will try and poach somebody based upon like, yo, let me inform you about what's going on here. You might not have known. Like it might have been a great deal to Pusha, because he seemed like he was up when he first came home. I mean, before he went in. But in a situation now, I get more information. I've been sitting in jail. All I could do is read and have people tell me, and I'm looking at everybody in Memphis go up, and I'm like, well, this is my hood too. Like I could just run with my people. Yeah. Like why would I not? Let me get away from this.
Pooh did speak on that though. He did say, because you either had this sign with Gotti on CMG or Paper Route with Young Dolph, but Gotti and Dolph was beefing, so he didn't want to side with either one of them. So when Gucci came, it made sense because he was the outsider. But I think also with the bad deal thing, it's more like, they do got to get their money back, because just like the streets, it's an advance. Like, I'm going to front you this money. You got to make this money back. And I feel like even though the young boys don't be knowing like what they signing, or even the people we grew up on didn't know what they were signing, you got to understand that nothing is free. And I think we be forgetting about that media literacy, or just like that financial literacy of just like, this is a situation you're being put in. Why would it make sense for them to give you all of this money and then you what do you see, and when were you supposed to see it?
But Pooch actually recoup whatever Gucci gave him to record anything.
He
He
back.
recouped
Yeah,
immediately.
Okay.
So like in the sense of the art, like that part, that's the sentence part of it, where the business of music is all like that's what I'm saying. This thing is real connected because in music, that's how the business goes. It's not like you need this increase and I'm making sure you good for the rest of your life. It's not that type of situation. It's more of a because we're still recording everywhere. I don't know why this went out, but it's more of a. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, just roll, bro.
Yeah,
Just
it's
roll.
coming back on. But it's more of a situation where you need me, like I need you to take this money from me because I can't. I need you to sign this deal. I need you to I'm gonna inflate. I'm gonna act like I'm giving this crazy budget, but the whole time their budget goes to the team assigned to them. Like your lawyer gets this much of it, you get this much, or whatever deal you sign. The label in the industry itself makes money off of like it's insidious. Like the young artist has always been preyed upon. You can record this in your room without no money needed. You have to go to the studio. You ain't need no, but your budget is going to be used toward these things. It don't matter if you need it or not. It's spent already. It's predetermined once you sign. So like in a situation, it's street. Like it ain't nothing you could do about it. Like that
So
first
how-
contract.
so
just
how-
like the league.
So how do we, especially as black people, I do think that we have to take business from out the streets. How do y'all think that we do that, especially in the minds of black? Because I don't see this as much in women as I see it in men. The thought that the way that we resolve this is outside of the law. So how do we fix that? Like, how do we detect? Like, the streets got too much of a hold on the black community. Like, and the streets as a concept isn't even a concept because the rules are never the same. It's always changing. It changes depending on the geography, depending on the hood, depending on who you affiliated with. In this situation, Gucci read it. There's no other way to say if he was abiding by street culture, Gucci read it. So it's like,
play the song just to tell you.
so
it's here. He did.
So when I'm saying he read it, what I'm saying is, as a part of street culture, what you do not do is talk to the police. You do not tell the police what happened because it's your obligation to handle this situation. And that's something that he believed in. And so from my side, if you going to preach that, you gotta stand on it. Like, there's no way you don't stand on it because there are so many young people that crashed out because of your words. People who didn't have nothing to believe in, they listen to you, and now they're in jail for life.
But that's
so
the
you
streets.
Did
But
Whack 100
I feel
say
like,
anything?
bro,
I
the
thought
streets
he
was
like,
manufactured by the oppressor, and that's what niggas got
I don't know, I gotta
realized,
look.
bro.
Let's go real.
No, yeah,
Right.
no, but like it was manufactured by them. So even the conditions that we talking about, we abiding by these rules because we couldn't go to the cops. We couldn't trust them. So we had to figure out how to handle our own situations. Now the world has evolved, and I think we as a people have evolved. We can't keep going by the rules that were set in place by conditions we didn't create. Like, how are you going to say that's fair, that Gucci should or should not do this when he's a millionaire? Like, now he's in a different world. He's in different rules, but he came up off this culture. So now it's like he's selling out.
But you gotta-
What
why
that
didn't
highlights essentially
Yeah.
is the need to have something else. If you lose, if
Yeah.
you're going to give up
Exactly.
this set of values and principles,
You gotta
what are
have
you going to
something.
pick up
Yeah.
in
Now what do
return?
you
And that's
believe?
where
Yeah.
what I was talking to y'all about earlier about the job that I'm working now, that is building this institute to train people that essentially came from the lived experience of being in the streets, had their own experiences through it, suffered their own consequences of it, and then came out on the other side. And we're like, okay, now I'm going to dedicate my life, my professional life at least, to reaching out to people that were young like I was, foolish like I was, and try to help steer them away from a life in the streets. And the Institute is designed to help train those people with the skills that they need in order to do that type of work effectively. And I've been having one-on-one conversations with a handful of those people in the past week or so, just preparing them for it. But they've been in turn telling me some of their stories. And something that really stood out to me in relation to this conversation is one man that was telling me about how he served 44 years in prison and is now doing this work and feels like it's an obligation to him, that he feels like it's payback for what it is that he did, but it also is just like such a wave of like gratitude that he feels for the fact that he has a second chance at life, that he's like, how else could I like express this gratitude other than trying to give positivity to the world? And so but part of the work that they do is still abiding by street code in some way. So they still don't talk to police, right? Like their job is not to like go find out what it is that you're doing in the streets and then go turn around and tell on somebody. It still is really like captured in like love and respect for who you are as a person and the rules that you abide by. But it is also like holding a higher standard as a person. Like my principles are now to like to spreading positivity and not to negativity. And that's where like my whole mindset, and this is probably just holding a too high a bar for someone like Gucci Mane, but it's like you could have been the old head in that situation because that's who you are. You could have been the person that held a different standard that says, granted, you created the negative whole setup that allowed for this to happen because you snuck him out his money at the beginning of the deal. So that's a whole different thing. But setting that aside, if at the end of the situation, you can be the old head that says, this was wrong like this. Let me teach a lesson to the public. Let me like use this moment to get on my soapbox and talk about something. I don't got to recoup that money because I'm Gucci Mane and I whatever. But like you use it as a moment to stand on something positive. That's how you stand in between. I'm not in the streets and I don't call the law. It's like I am somebody that has principles. Everyone on both sides of the coin can respect that. That to me is the middle ground that like, but you have to be a person that has consciously chosen that path. And that is a path that you are uniquely positioned to hold. That's the people that are going into that institute. You are uniquely positioned to hold a position in your community where you are respected by niggas that don't respect nobody, but they respect you because you have that lived experience. You've been that person and you don't talk to the cops and you don't play by that game. He could be that person, but he don't have that. He not there.
I think that when it in the whole situation, what it makes me think of is that we as black people, we don't have shared principles. That's just the truth of the matter. So when it comes to Gucci, it's
true?
Yeah.
For sure. When I say it for sure, you don't believe the same things as somebody that grew up in the streets.
But
right?
we all believe in to go to the cops, right?
We all believe to go to the cops.
Not to go to the cops.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think everybody believes that. I think
I'm saying everybody in this room.
Everybody. So the cops don't
in
protect.
some situations where people be like,
the cops don't
We
protect.
probably all got a similar line as to like,
Yeah.
where is that
Yeah.
line where you're like,
I was
I
about
would
to
never
say,
go to police.
I
in
feel
this.
like I mean I'm firm on the like I definitely am not. My first mind is not like I'm about to call the cops like ever. However, I do think obviously we all know here there's civilians and there are street people. I don't believe in the whole like if you're a civilian and you're not in the streets, if you told the cops you a snitch, that makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Like as somebody who's walking the streets every day, I am not obligated to no type of street what WEC 100, the street testament, whatever he be calling them. I'm not obligated to that as somebody who has no participation in the street or street culture or anything like that. So I think if you are walking down the street and you see a truck pull up, just like I think they said in West Oak Lane, I saw this boy was a truck pull
Right
up and
around
start
here.
shooting at a bunch of kids, and you don't say nothing because I don't call the cops, and you never been in the streets a day in your life. That I just think that makes zero sense. If I see that, I'm calling the cops immediately.
And it shows you not in the streets because right now we just saw the streets called like Gucci, like in the situation.
Gucci call the cops.
Yeah.
Gucci, Frank Lucas, Nicki, like it's a long list of the biggest street gangsters in the world. Whenever it's time for they altar call to the law, they get to singing. So like in a situation, it's a like
This is
it's the streets. This all is the streets.
This is exactly what
I was gonna call it
This
toxic
is exactly what I'm saying though. This is what I mean is that we're divided on what to do in that situation. If we see somebody pull out with arms at some kids and let off, we are conflicted on like, do I call the cops? Do I call the homies? Do I mind my business?
Yeah, because masculinity
that's
is
true.
chalk. Like,
But-
niggas is scary. Like,
But he's just exemplifying that is the case.
That's
That's
what I'm
that's
saying.
the
That's
point.
what I'm
you
saying.
call the homies, now the cops is coming for you. You call the cops, now the cops is coming for everybody. So it's like, again, we can't rely on the system. We do have to have our own upstanding principles. I also think with the Gucci thing is like, if you now turn that leaf and now you're going to be positive guy, like you can't rap about the streets no more because now we can't hear you go back. Like now you are on this new
Can't do
path
both.
and now this is who you got to be. But we often clap for the guy who then has that revelation of like, now I want to be positive. But when niggas is being positive before that, we like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody
You gotta
keeps
turn the
going
leaf
through
in
the
order for
cycle.
us
You
to-
got to turn the leaf.
No,
To
this
get rid of streets, you gotta let like guys can't have a soft guy era. Like that's what that's what this is all like. The real
man.
like you trying to get into like an area where people can go into situations and not have to handle it with toxic masculinity. Like and all this streets only exists because of fear. Niggas is going somebody's going to
Facts.
impose some fear or something upon you, and that is a direct like against your masculinity. Like I come from old heads wasn't a lot. Like fear was a thing you had to get like fought out of you like when I was a kid. So like in a situation like this new area of like, oh, I can't call the cop, like you can't call the homies, like when I was growing up, if a kid got kidnapped, you knew it was a whole blocks of people coming
Yeah.
for you because this
Yeah.
kid got cousins over here, got cousins over here. I remember a bike got stolen and the whole everybody got involved. So like in a situation, but it was because the fear wasn't like, all right, whatever you gonna do in this street, you gonna have to do it a lot. Like right now, it's one kid with a switch and the whole block scared. So like it's definitely like an era to get all this to go away. To me, I think you gotta allow kids to be soft, men to be soft. So you can get to a point of where you cannot handle it with because the only thing street left is the masculinity, but like handle it in some. You know what I'm saying
the real thing that this makes me think of is, for example, the reason why I know that black people don't stand for nothing really is because Kanye got banned from the UK. Kanye got banned from the UK because he had the anti-Jewish rhetoric. He said things that were hurtful to a specific group of people, which was the Jewish people, right?
Why did he say him?
He said it for his freedom, for because Kanye is the type of person that feels that he believes that he should be able to say whatever he wants. Of course, there have been slights to him from that community in different ways, just like all people. But what I'm saying is, in the instance in which he said that, they said that you can't come into the country. There is nothing that black people have done that we have taken that type of stand. That we said we're no longer listening to this artist, right? When Kanye wore the KKK mask, right? We still listening to whatever, to Graduation or whatever. We not cutting them off. But they're saying you can't come here, you can't perform here. We're not allowing this thing anymore. And so this is the reason why I believe that even if we do believe in something, our convictions aren't strong enough because we don't put our money where our mouth is. We don't cut nobody off. We don't have the standards.
Power though.
Well, we do,
It's
like-
power though. Like you're talking about the country, the United Kingdom. The country said you can't come in. That's not any random white person on the street saying I don't like Kanye with such conviction that I banned him from my country. That is the prime minister of the country saying you're not allowed. That's power that backs that level of conviction up. And with African Americans specifically, because they're black-led and black majority countries around the world that we're not talking about, African Americans specifically don't have that type of power inside of America to say you're banned from this
if African
thing.
Americans had that type of power, will we ban the streets? Will we ban the street culture?
I think again, if we had type of power, because like in this thing, it's kind of like funny these two groups is the parallel here because of using Kanye in the situation. And if we got the same opportunity to go, because again, it's even black in our nature, but we got the same opportunity to go take a piece of land and develop a fully flourished country and nation and make it state of the art and do a thing. You kind of all this stuff kind of goes away to me in a situation, but we weren't afforded that situation after our crisis. So like in our situation, we have to fight. And well, hey man, I don't know. You want me to call it a
No, you got it. You got
catastrophe? You want me to call it
You got
a
it,
world
dude.
winning? Like in a situation like so many of people that look like us got wiped from the planet before they even got to the land. So like in a situation, we've never got anything for that. So like in the people that have gotten something for that and then took what they got from that and turned it into this network, this empire to where they have the ability to lean on prime ministers, where they have the ability to in your TV show, they have the ability to end your music career and make sure your sneakers can't get made. Yeah, I can see Kanye feeling like, oh, well, I gotta raise y'all again because he's not raising. In the situation, it's been the same people he's been attacking because it's a fight right now. This is the same fight. Yo, I can't perform my show. Guess what this leads to? A Kanye West rant because I couldn't do my show because y'all said I said something, but before I ever said a word, y'all would stop me from doing things. So like, I just think like in the case of we were afforded our opportunity as the people to go develop, we would have developed into something this world has never seen.
Yeah, I think
Look at the innovation here.
what you said about like shared principles is kind of what it comes back to. I think those people that can unite and ban something,
Yes.
like they are all in agreement on what we're banning and why we're banning it. Same thing is what we just talked about with
We
the cops
united
coming.
them, though. That's what
I
Who is
just-
our-
I
who-
just- I
they
just
have an
feel
enemy.
like-
They
Can
have
I-
an
can I-
enemy.
They
You
did.
see what I'm
That's what
saying?
they got
We
a
don't have
common
no
enemy.
enemies.
But I
But-
feel like our
We do.
enemy
What?
could be the cops, but when the cops come,
But
everybody
they're
enemy is the
understands.
country,
divided
the government.
too.
I mean,
If
and
I'm
the
just
government too.
if I'm just giving one example, right? Amongst Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
there are Jewish
said the
people
word,
in
guys.
power. Because we're.
Oh, go ahead.
It's not
Go
a
ahead. No,
slur.
go ahead, gangster. I'm letting you go. Go ahead.
I'm giving
We
an
gonna cut
example
this, but go ahead.
of the leaders of the Israeli state are a type of Jewish people that are in power of something, right? They have control over something. So we right now are in a moment in American history where when the leaders of the Israeli state make a decision. We say Jewish people did this, Jewish people did that, which leaves no account for the fact that on the ground, not just in Israel, but worldwide, Jewish people are actually not a monolith. And we can talk again about the example in this here country. There are liberal Jewish people on college campuses across the country, on just in Philadelphia, that are protesting alongside protesters of all races and demographics, saying that Israel is committing a genocide in Palestine. So, like, the idea that they have that Jewish people are banding together and they have the power. They have power. The people in power of a powerful state have power. The Jewish people on those college campuses that are protesting alongside their Arab classmates probably don't feel like they have power. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that there is a monolith. It's that the people in power represent their identities. We do not have people in power that represent our interests and that can actually mobilize behind that. That to me is the difference. It's not that I think that we are divided, but I don't think that we're singularly divided in the way that we're making it out to be.
Yeah. I do think from based on what you just said, just earlier, I was thinking, if I was an outsider and I was looking at America, what would I believe about the American people? Right? Because the person, our number
it's a real
one
profound thought. Like what? Like
no,
that's what you're even thinking about every day, though. Like
because our number one leader, he go off in his tweets. And if you read the tweets, you could think that that's a reflection of the American
that
people.
we elected twice. Like, so that's like a big context to this. Like, because it's not like this just happened. Like, this is somebody that like to JJ's
clear
point,
reflection of the American people.
Yeah, like to
the
JJ's point, if you
majority.
don't know anything and you're just going off of that, it's like, oh, these people must want him there because they elected him twice, and they had a chance to put a black woman in office for the first time ever, and they were like, we want this man. So
That's
one of the
how you know it
most
wasn't black people
qualified,
that
not
didn't
just black
Yeah.
women though,
Power.
the most qualified person to be a president ever.
yeah,
Ever. The best resume ever. And niggas say, you know what?
literally,
Actually,
We're gonna
Went to-
believe the liar.
went to an HBCU and
Right.
a black sorority. We was like,
But back to the point of the media, like Monty made a clear distinction of like, those things exist, but again to this and Dr. Umar got a great joke on this about like, I don't know if he's joking, but I think he but like about to for you to really be an ally in this, like if you really gotta give everything that comes with benefit of being a Jew. Like in a situation, like if you're gonna say that, you can't then also reap the because that state influences a lot of like there's a lot of money into that community to be able to do and say and control what they control, and people don't usually give up their privilege to also like I'll fight with you, but I'm still gonna go to get the scholarship. I'm still gonna go to the I don't want to use none of their terms the wrong way, but I still want to go to the place for worship, and then from there I'm gonna grow up and marry the girl that I'm gonna do all the things that align perfectly with the community and the religion.
In some instances, that's not the case, right? In the same way that there are people who are Christian that do not follow the path of traditional Christianity, like we are. And it's like,
is there a benefit to Christianity? That's what I'm saying. Like,
absolutely.
is there a benefit to being
absolutely.
Definitely.
We live in a white Christian nation.
Our president is fake Christian.
We live in a white Christian nation, but
okay.
yeah. My point is just that I think that we could be mindful, as not just in this room, but as a people, in recognizing that like. When we're talking about any other group of people, no one is a monolith. And I think that when we remind ourselves that, it's important because that's how we want people to understand us as a people. That is how we understand how power operates in this country, not just like being slaves to what the headlines tell us or like media bias back and forth. It's like the common sense of how we understand ourselves applies to the common sense of how you understand anything else, and that allows you to actually understand how power operates, not how people operate, not how religions operate, not how race, not how culture, not how power operates.
So in our current structure, though, how do we band together to ban the streets? Because that's really what it comes down to. We need to figure out. We need to figure out a way to get some
Everybody
type of
got invested
because we can't
in
keep
softening this
like
fake
the streets can't continue. The mentality of the streets cannot continue. It's not conducive to anything.
It's
as
not
far
conducive
as,
to itself. It's
not
built
conducive-
on
right,
lies.
it's not conducive
I
to
gave you
itself.
every street person is a snitch, and like in this
Yeah, it's not
situation,
conducive to
the
itself.
whole thing is this because toxic masculinity. Like that is this right? As long as that exists in our community, the streets are going to exist because somebody's going to be the bigger, tougher. I got my gun first. So like in a situation, if we can get rid of that idea of like like again, I don't mind squabbling. Like that was the perfect time for me as a kid when you could fight and go home. And that was it. Like, hey, you lost a fight. Hey, you might gotta fight this nigga 17 more times. But I'm not getting the gun to kill you because, like, why would I kill? Like, you didn't kill. Like the stress to murder when I was younger were very high. Like, they were like certain things that happened. All right, these qualify for murder, but this is a fight.
Yeah.
And that is what that now everything's a murder. Like, hey, yo, you tripped me, I want to murder.
I think a qualifying thing to ban in the streets though is what Red said, is that the system still isn't for us. It's not like we can ban the streets and then say that they are going to we're just going to be a law abiding citizens
And that's power.
They're going to protect us.
And that's
So
how
it's like,
power works. That's why it's not just about culture. It's not just about what we see or what we consume. That is how power works. And that's why it's not fair to say that Black people aren't doing what it is that they should do. And to be fair, I think that there are a lot of things that we can do internally, just if we look amongst ourselves, that we could take more care. If we just look at our neighborhoods and clean them up more, if we just look at our neighbors and care for them more, that goes a long way. But power is different than what we are doing as a result of our culture. Power is what says who's in charge, what are the systems that are happening, and how does that dictate how everything else falls in line.
Yeah.
So how does one accrue power? In a very quick, I don't want to go crazy, but in this, we saying we're using the term power, and is that something that people can achieve?
I think
today still, or is that you had to have it and it's going old money?
I feel like you can, when I think of specifically in the context of this conversation that we're having right now, when I think of someone who was kind of abiding by street culture but had power but was also for community, I think of Nipsey Hussle. That's the first person I think of, where I feel like, I think Nipsey is somebody who, just from stories that you hear, I think he's somebody in many ways abided by what we would LA street culture, but I also think he was somebody who was very much dedicated and driven to that mission of community impact and social impact, and knew what that meant and how to practice it on a day-to-day. So when I think of someone and how you gain power within a community, I think of that pathway where it's people didn't call him neighborhood Nip for no reason, and there's a reason why after he passed on there was young kids and older people coming out with literal stories and interactions that they had with him. And as cliche and corny as it sounds, I think it comes from that. Gaining power is being a good person. If you're saying you're for community, being a good person to people when nobody's looking, not in a performative way. What does it look like to, well, every time I ride down this block, because this is my neighborhood and this is where I'm from, I'm giving $5 to the young boys and being yo, get off this corner. I think that is not something you just wake up one day and I got the power. I think it's slow building. That's how you build the foundations of who you are, to a point that now the youth respects you, people your age respects you, and all of that. I think that to me is how you, I think, would be a good path forward in trying to gain power in a street scenario, or a street had enough power to possibly change the narrative. Because it's one thing to just be oh yeah, I'm the leader of this block, or niggas on this block respect me, versus what Nipsey had was influence amongst the whole entire city. Whereas he come through that, I think that, which is also the reason why a lot of people were so devastated by that loss, because it was almost when he come through, it's almost like a celebrity, which he was a celebrity at the time, but this people who grew up with him, he's yeah, I'm gonna have this whole shopping plaza named after me, and people believe that because of what type of person he was. So I think that to me is just a way that you could gain power within a community.
I think from the historical examples that we've had, we also could mobilize our institutions. For example, Martin Luther King and Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam. These were things that already existed. The Black church is already here and has a certain amount of power within itself. It would just be mobilizing it towards a certain and succinct goal in order to advance the cause of Black people. We would have to be more on the same page. Another thing that they were doing at that time, which we don't do, is having roundtables amongst Black leaders from different places. There were way more Black media outlets, right? Looking at how we can get the Black voice to be unified and to be heard from different places. Right now, I don't know if we own a media outlet at that scale. Maybe Revolt, but certainly the intention is not to unify leaders.
That's not that scale either.
And yeah, that's not on that scale. But to unify leaders and speak on politics, the politics of Black people. And so I think there's also to not disenfranchise ourselves so much mentally to say that we have none, we're starting from a place of zero. We could say we're starting from a place of, we do have collectivity. How do we mobilize it and unify it to a certain goal?
I think the one step further with that is, once we have the collectivity and we have the leaders and everybody in place, is being prepared for the pushback. So in historical context with Nip, MLK, Malcolm X, whoever the case may be, once they really are making an impact, somehow, some way, society comes to try and tear them down or get rid of them, and then that fragments the community that they infected, because
white
now
supremacy.
the compass is gone, right? So now, how do we protect, one, those people that are in those positions, and then two, if things do fall apart or somebody's, or we get to the next step, like with the Target boycott, how do we still come together in these moments of, now it's a big decision time? How are we going to make the next decision? So being prepared for that next step of the revolution, I think, is how we figure out.
And then I think it all starts with like unity. I had a joke I want to say, but y'all gave really good answers, so I'm not going to say it. but I think it all comes back to the sense of like, you need to. All right, my joke. I had to say it now. All right, we need a Brump. I need a sleeper agent, Black Trump. All right, so like, look.
Brump, yeah.
Black people, we need to be selfish, and it's kind of, we've never been in this side in this country, and that's been our issue. So
That's
like,
true.
for us to be selfish, I kind of need us to do it I gotta take somebody kid, like, all right, we take y'all kid, we gonna make his whole life to be the president, but he gonna get in there and act the fool because we learned that it can't be stopped. So I'm gonna give reparations away. I'm gonna I'm breaking up the country back together. With Black people, actually, y'all got this whole left side, and and guess what? Trump's we're at war right now. Nobody voted, nobody cared, and he's doing whatever he wants. So I need my own. That's my joke. But the really is being selfish. Like the idea of like us not if a movement does come up and it does start and these leaders do come, you can't give your assets to another movement. You can't like at the same time of civil rights, women's rights came right up. In that time, that fractured the whole situation for us in history. That moving, they're taking the women out because us as the Black community, the best thing we got is being united. So like men and women and children, everyone being there together strong is what get white people to kind of stop acting crazy. Like in reality, because like they do these things until they see the kids, so you get the M and till the story hits the nation of this child got hurt or this woman got hurt in these situations. So like having the whole unity and family together would definitely garner us some more control in that if we get to these points to where everyone's idea are coming. We have this leadership to be selfish and only look out for ourselves until we get to a part of like world power where we back to power, and until we can get to some Black people having their own voice in the world. It changes things for us to be a lot.
And ownership is that for me. Ownership is part of that, a key piece of that power. Ownership of infrastructure and of distribution. I think that media is highly influential right now, and that ownership of the distribution of media would lend to an ability to be able to change narratives, to be able to influence young people, to be able to change culture in that like double pronged sense. And then I think your sleeper cell agent is a phenomenal idea. Like that's also ownership in a different way of like ownership of a piece of this like American political thing. The one thing that I would just add when you were saying that like with the civil rights movement and the feminist movement like sort of happening at the same time and that fractured it, there definitely were like the Black feminist tradition was different from the civil rights tradition, but I wouldn't even say, I would just like to point out that the civil rights movement, along with the Black Power movement, what truly, truly, honestly led to their destruction from like the larger point of view was the fact that they were becoming multiracial. Was that they were becoming like rainbow coalitions of it became more based on the axis of poverty than it did on the axis of race. And that was the true threat from the eyes of the American government. And so the idea that unity or that like super narrow focus is what will save us. Part of me, half of me feels that way, and then half of me understands that it doesn't work in the kind of like super interconnected country that we live in. So it's like I myself straddle that line of like we gotta be selfish versus you gotta open it up because history shows us examples of both working and not working.
All right, y'all. I feel like that was a great conversation. I really appreciate everybody's insight, and I hope I hope y'all enjoy something from that. Let's connect. Let's give them some resources before we get out of here.
I have one. I'll plug the Philadelphia Creators Summit Friday, April 24th. So if you're any type of creator that's interested in media, podcasting, videography, running your own media, journalism, anything in that world, there'll be a free summit on the 24th. Trying to figure out if you go to Linfest Institute at Linfest Institute on Instagram, you should see all the information and how to register. There's also a free happy hour. So yeah, if you're interested in just hearing some panels and workshops and just meeting some other types of creators, you should definitely come.
Bye.
This one is interesting. So this is something that I think that we should take advantage of as well. Because it's just getting started. But the Download News and Making World Books are hosting a community newsroom residency up on Germantown Ave at this like rotating sort of like community space called Our House Culture Center. It's
love
right on
Our
Germantown
House.
in Johnson Street.
Yeah,
and
I used to live across the street from there.
Really? That's
Yep.
around the corner for where I live right
Yeah,
now.
I know. I said this is crazy because I did not know y'all lived there, and I lived
Right
at the on Germantown and Johnson for like 2 years.
Okay, so you know exactly where I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It's that like rotating community space, and they're doing
Yep.
like a community newsroom where they're going to be hosting different public events for creators, for journalists, for community members to be able to pull up and pitch stories. If you're like, there's something that I think that you should be covering in the community. If you are a journalist or a creator yourself and want to be in collaboration with people that are making news in Philly, I think it's really interesting and looking forward to figuring out more what it looks like in practice. But yeah, that is happening from April through June, I want to say. Something like that.
Excellent.
Fire.
Well, we appreciate y'all for coming and rocking with Who's Hiring. Once again, follow us on all platforms at The Winners Culture.
Press subscribe right now if you made it to the end. Right
Yeah.
now. 'Cause
Subscribe on
at the end of the
YouTube.
episode. Like, why not?
Right now.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. We are officially on all platforms.
Wherever
This
you
is-
listen.
This is
subscribe.
excellent. And we appreciate y'all's support. Shout out to Hugo for being our most consistent
Shout out to Hugo.
supporters.
Crying.
All right, we go.
To the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coaching. You know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coaching. Yeah, we winners, coaching.